Hello, my children. If you're hearing this, I have successfully become a Playboy billionaire YouTuber and probably in space somewhere. It also means I have died. But fret not, for I have left a mass fortune behind somewhere on Earth. This is my entire life savings, as well as some magazines I wasn't able to safely toss while the paparazzi was watching me. Ignore the magazines. Focus on the money, the cash, the big bucks, the dough, the loot, the moolah, the paper.
This joke went on for way too long, in hindsight.
Anyways, in order to find my treasure and priceless belongings, you must follow the clues in this video, as this is my last message to you children. It will be a mostly true recounting of our family's past, save a few favorable modifications. If you're ready, we shall begin.
And now, before the next show starts, let's enjoy an intermission. You'll find our snack bar...
Raymond, can you take out the trash? Raymond!
Why don't you do it? Isn't that your job?
Excuse me?
Yeah, get back in the kitchen, woman, and give me some cold peas.
Why don't you get back on your feet and get them yourself?
Hey, I brought over some stew.
Oh, hey, Murray.
Oh, hey, Marie.
Now, is that any way to talk to your mother?
Tell him, Robert.
The 1950s were a decade marked by the post-World War II boom, the dawn of the Cold War, and the Civil Rights Movement in the United States. America at this moment, said the former British Prime Minister Winston Churchill in 1945, stands at the summit of the world. During the 1950s, it was easy to see what Churchill meant. The United States was the world's strongest military power. Its economy was booming, and the fruits of the prosperity, new cars, suburban houses, and other consumer goods were available to more people than ever before. However, the 1950s were also an era of great conflict. For example, the nascent civil rights movement and the crusade against communism at home and abroad exposed the underlying divisions in American society.
Kathleen Joan Coffey was born in Byesville, Ohio on August 25th, 1953. If that seems like a long time ago, that's because it is. Not only because it's 2104 right now, but it's just old. Right, stop berating the elderly. Back on track. Kathleen moved north to Cleveland in time to start kindergarten at St. Ignatius Elementary. Now her family claims to have moved to the city because of jobs. I will not, however, be fooled by their devious and nefarious schemes. Kathy was very mischievous. The archives tell of things I dare not speak in public, but just know there was some shady. And now for our Chevlar. Guy Anton Frangipan was born in Lodi, New Jersey on May 2nd, 1954, and lived there until his dad's company transferred him to Ohio. Guy was a Class A stud, heralded in every way as a perfect child by his parents and peers. It seemed there was nothing he couldn't do, as he quickly climbed the ranks of his school. This was not the last, however, as you will soon see. His brother Jim was also exceptionally gifted, especially in track, so much so that his father set out the greatest track coach in all of Ohio. So he was pretty bad. Nevertheless, they settled on Valley Forge High School. So the stage is set. On one side, a troublemaker and unruly individual, and on the other, the classiest, most perfect man to ever exist. At least that's what his teachers said. It seemed inevitable that these two opposing sides would clash. But when and where? How would this play out? And more importantly, where the heck is my treasure at? As it would turn out, Guy and Kathy, as they called her, would have a mutual friend. The year was 1972, and coincidentally, the two would meet, as almost guided by the stars and life itself in that selfsame friend's dorm room. Upon first sight, Guy was starstruck. How could such beauty exist, he proclaimed. Now, Guy was the utmost of a gentleman, and of course, he wouldn't make any premature moves, but he was very much interested. This would start his month-long crusades of trying to talk with Kathy. Time and time again he would approach, but time and time again she would run off, causing chaos and destruction in her wake. It wasn't long after that Guy found out she was getting married. In despair, he retreated back to his usual ways and focused on schooling.
You're so boring.
And Kathy stated cruelly. Her husband glared back,
And you're far too exciting.
furious with her husband and his boring nature, as she called it. She yearned for someone more exhilarating, someone to give her the thrill she desired. Kathy filed for divorce, which was promptly granted on July 13th, 1976. Good year. 13. 13 is a number that would seem to come up more than once in this tale. Nevertheless, the story is just begun. Many more tales will be wove, and many more have yet to be weaved, as only some have been woven as yet. Yes, it's a great sentence, and I'm so glad that I wrote that in there. Anyways, back to it. Our heroine has rendered herself single, and Guy has once again made his reappearance. It was the night of May 13th, 1977, that Guy went to Rampart Lion nightclub for a good time, as you do. The club was a favorite of his, and he often went to chill with the boys. As it would happen, Kathy was already there, very much drunk and very much dancing on the tables. It was a miracle, a classic Disney tale, and so a long series of adventures ensued over the course of 1 month. Despite their differences, they got along exceptionally well. So well, in fact, that on their way to Cleveland Indians game, Guy handed Kathy a dozen roses before handing her one last one with an engagement ring on the stem. It would then turn out that they got engaged on June 13th. I did say 13 would come up again, didn't I? But worry not, for the worst is yet to come. For of course I speak of the greatest scandal in the Catholic Church in the last 600 years since they were relevant. Needless to say, it was the greatest lie of all time, even bigger than Titanic's ability to never sink. You see, Guy and Kathy were very religious. More specifically, Catholic or Christian. I can't tell the difference. Whatever. They were up to no good, for they yearned to get married after dating for only 1 month. However, there was an issue. A major wrench in the tank treads, as they say, for the church would be extremely reluctant to marry a couple after such a short time. So they hatched the most dubious of plans. Using Kathy's villainy and Guy's intelligence, the two most religious individuals I know decided to lie directly to an ordained minister. So much for thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Geez, they used the fact that they met 5 years later as a ploy to say they knew each other for years. And in the great knowledge and power of the church. Of course they believed them. I mean, who would lie to a priest? That would be crazy, right? They were married on August 13th and decided to stay in an airport hotel for their first wedding anniversary. Luxurious, I'm sure. Their lives would continue to be exciting, as they spent each day together getting closer and closer. Guy left to shop the aisles of an abandoned grocery store that is only running off of his money, as well as talk with neighbors and solve problems that they would probably be cheaper to just call someone to replace. Their personalities balanced each other out, and it wasn't long before they were a healthy mix of crazy and fun. One of their favorite memories was during one of their infamous vacations. While staying at a hotel, they had another devious plan. They plotted to complain about their room in hopes of getting more expensive room without paying for the higher cost. And once again, it of course worked. It was a penthouse room with 270-degree view of the city and both falls, filled with luxurious amenities. TVs everywhere, balconies, a leather floor, space for 8 people, and one of the showers with many shower heads, remote controlled curtains, and drapes all around. As it was Canada, the room was respectfully called the Wayne Gretzky suite, since he's pretty much royalty there. Yes, once again, they scammed someone. I had a light bulb for every time they scammed someone, I'd have 2 light bulbs. Which is weird that I would have 2. On most days, the two spent their days watching reruns of old shows like Newer Soap or Everybody Loves Raymond. If you know any of these shows, you're actually a boomer. I spent 5 hours looking into these shows for clips, and I have aged at least 20 years. Guy collected everything he could find, even from the Goodwill. If he saw it, it was his. Kathy, on the other hand, hated keeping things, and would usually donate to the Goodwill. Guy would then rediscover the thing they donated away and take it for himself. They enjoyed sitting and laughing together, and they loved going to Indians games. Sports was something that they had always enjoyed, and their kids would also take on. Guy loves sports, and he loves that his wife loves them just as much. Kathy was also strangely good at winning contests and prizes. I don't know what kind of black magic she is casting or whatever, but whatever makes the good dough, I guess. Although that dough was nowhere to be found, as Kathy usually gambled away half the savings account. But above all, Kathy loved her children. Yes, they had 3 children and 6 grandchildren. As their story as a couple had concluded, I can now only branch into their story as parents and grandparents, but their children and their children's story. So, strap on because this is probably going to be a mess. Rachel Frangipan was born on November 5th, 1973. Much like her mother, she was a major instigator, always getting into trouble and being an overall rascal. She somehow managed to graduate from the University of Toledo and went on to marry her husband, Shane, and they had 4 kids, Logan, Quinn, Charlie, and Abby. Nicole Frangipan was born on February 12th, 1979, and unlike her sister and her mother, she was much more like her father, Guy. She was a dream child who got perfect grades and never ever got in trouble at all whatsoever. She graduated from Baldwin Wallace College and went on to marry husband Chris and had 2 kids, Grace and Landon. Anthony Frangipan was born May 8th, 1982, and he was an almost perfect mix of the craziness of his mother and the stableness of his father. He graduated from the Ohio State University and never get married, although he did have 12 kids, all with different mothers.
So, where was the treasure? Where are these priceless belongings? Well, obviously, the treasure was the friends we made along the way. It's about the journey, not the destination. Just kidding! I'm poor. See you, suckers.
Yeah, man, it's your boy, Mr. Fab, man. The yellow bus rider, man. Sean T, the real king of slaps, man. Y'all better act like y'all know who he is, man. Yeah. Me give y'all one-on-one on how to ghost ride. Look, the streets know just what this is. Ghost riding whip up and down the street. The Ghostbusters, they the police. Always wanna pull a nigga over for speed. Not me, I get in the scrape. High marks in the streets look like figure eights. Sideshow, you know where I'm going. From the north to the east, just in case you ain't know it. Baby, uptown politics, hit the club like this. Tryna holler at a chick, can't get in the club, got a parking lot pimp. Hey, little mama, come holler at a pimp. What you know about? Give you a whip, buy yourself some shoes and then your car kicks. Ice up your neck, your hands and your whip, just to hang out the window, stunting with your clique. When you get a new car, and you're feeling like a star. Okay, okay, what you gon' do? What you gon' do? What you gon' do? Ride it, ghost ride your whip. When you get a new car, and you're feeling like a star. Okay, okay, what you gon' do? What you gon' do? What you gon' do? Ride it, ghost ride your whip. Pull up, hop out, all in one motion. Dancing on the hood while the car's still rolling. Stunting, shine, glam boasting on one high. Off that motion, window down, feet out of it. Then that boy high, he out of it. He is in teeth, gritty and grinding. Ice in his mouth, you know he big time. And Chevy, Buicks, Regals, and Ribbies though. First one I seen Ghost Ride was Gritty Ball. Going down.
Hey, Grim and Grandpa.
I made this dumb little video as a Christmas present that was requested by my mother. Hold on. To you guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It took quite a lot of time. The script itself was about 18 pages long by the end of it. And I just wanted to say Merry Christmas. And I hope you have a good start to the new year. See ya.